So what does a mass shooter have in common with an Islamic terrorist? Well, they're able to create an impact that reaches beyond their own marginal insignificance. Even a small evil pebble can make large ripples expanding across the water. A loser can kill his way to fame with a bomb, a truck, or a gun. A mass shooter in a small town can hijack an entire country's attention in one afternoon. It's the same mechanism, creating an impact beyond one's statistical importance. Morbid acts bring attention. Suffering expands from the immediate victims outward through cities, then country. The media enlarges the impact. We can't help it. It's our job. But it only makes it more likely to happen again. Those new ripples persuade another fiend dying for infamy. Why do celebrities unleash attention-grabbing tantrums after a shooting? Perhaps they wish to create an impact beyond their minor importance, too. The only solution, recognize what underlies the crime, a thirst for infamy, then deny it. And then laud the citizens out there willing to risk their lives, preventing further bloodshed. That's the silver lining in this very ugly cloud. The local heroes who risked it all to stop the horror. A good guy with a gun and a good guy with a truck. Two things the media hates. Despite being terrified, a nearby Stephen Williford grabbed his gun and shot the fiend through his body armor. Johnny Langendorf then gave chase, accelerating the ghoul's demise, the coward who killed himself. It's still pretty awful, but at least this pair made it slightly less so. Those are pebbles that deserve the wider ripple, two pebbles with the impact of 1,000,000 rocks. Here's tape of Johnny Langendorf, who was the guy who chased down the suspect and drove him to suicide.
I pulled up on the intersection and I saw the shooter coming from the cars, actually right outside the church that were parked. His vehicle was parked, door open, engine running, and him and the neighbor across the street were both coming out about the same time, exchanging fire. And as he came up, I never got a look at him. I never really saw him. I saw the gunfire. The shooter got in his truck. The gentleman with the rifle came to my truck as the shooter took off, and he briefed me quickly on what had just happened and said that we had to get him, and so that's what I did.
You know, it's amazing. The fellow, the good guy with the gun, was terrified, but he still did this. These deplorables, you know, and there, you know, it's a fact that the duration of a gun attack totally depends on the arrival of a second gun, and this shows that, I guess.
Well, and the sharpshooter is what they're calling this guy, the Weirendorf,
plumber,
Lagendorf, excuse me. No, that was Johnny. I've got the wrong person there. But basically, because he was a trained, lawful gun owner who was able to act quickly, was hopefully able to stop more carnage. Of course, we don't know exactly. If you look at Johnny there. Able to so calmly explain the situation and what they did. And you do have to wonder, if you were in that situation, could you have been as brave? And I think in these communities, they figure that they have no choice, right? Because if they waited for the police officers, you're in a rural area, it could take another 45 minutes to an hour to get to them.
Jesse, that's an important point.